Hello everyone, I hope we're all doing well. Welcome back for the final time this year to the Laser Grand Arena. It is the Grand Finals, and it is an insane matchup to have this time. It is the one and only Emrek, it is the one and only Malashevsky going against each other once again. We saw this in the finals, and we've seen this matchup quite a few times, and every single time, there's something crazy to happen. Last week, we had Emrek clutching an impossible map, and a lot of times we've had Malashevsky popping off with some incredible scores. I wonder how it'll go this time around.
But no, it should be a pretty interesting matchup. This was the rematch of last year's Grand Finals, actually, which Emrek won 3-2, so that went all the way, and I'm hoping that we see something similar this year as well, because we haven't really seen that many maps go to the original. I'm very excited to hopefully see this go to that original as well.
I hope so too. We are getting quickly into pick ban. Malashevsky banning Nomod 3 for the 5th time in 5 matches, week 2. Emrek does have the next ban and has quite a few options. Last time around did ban out the LM and the Hard Rock 2. It looks like that is going to be the case again, and this is kind of our first interesting strategy decision of the pick ban phases. Do you want to use that protect to protect one of your best maps, or do you want to use your protect as a third ban, seeing as your opponent cannot pick your protected map? A very quick reminder of the format. Every set is 2 maps. Whoever has the highest average score after 2 maps wins the sets, and first to 3 sets is the winner. Malice, in 4 plays, is averaging about 850k on the map, whereas Emrek played it twice and is averaging closer to 780k. And so Emrek has not had the better of Malashevsky on that map so far. We'll see if that ends up being slightly different here, and we are going to get the DT3 pick. This is going to be Fergalicious. Of course, it's going to be a very kind of janky alt map, you could call it. Some high velocity slider aim, and this one's been played quite a few times as well. Malashevsky has played this map in every single match, despite none of not picking it once. But has had good results on it, averaging about 850k. Emrek is similar. And, I mean, before we get into this maps, I just want to highlight how good these two players have been. You go back to qualifiers between the two of them, top scored 6 maps, exact same thing in week 1, top scored 6 different maps between the two of them. And in their previous match, Emrek averaged 880k. Which is absurd on a pool like this. Malice, honestly, not too far behind, averaged 820k. Just goes to show how high of a level these two players have been playing at, really for the past 3-4 years now.
Which is why this matchup is so exciting, right? I mean, 2 of the best tournament players in the world. I feel like that's kind of unarguable at this point. So...
we are going to get the Hard Rock 2. This is going to be our CS 7.8 flow precision map.
You can pretty much, as we said on DT3, you can pretty much just miss on anything in this map. That's the nature of high CS. You can literally miss on 2-star aim. As we get into the map here, you'll see the circle size and just how difficult it'll be to aim at this circle size. You'll probably just be seeing misses all over the place. We already see one from Malice.
Yeah, I mean, Malice opened up with, I think it was 2 breaks at the start, one at the very start, and one shortly after, and then another one immediately after at this point. This map, I've seen Malice play it a few times, and it's been very 50-50 on his performance with it. The first time he played it against Ronnie Sonny, Ronnie took quite a strong advantage on it, and then the second time he played it, I think it was against Emrek, and was a bit more confident than he seems to be on this right now, but wasn't enough to really match Emrek. I think the play he's going for here is just to get rid of a map he doesn't feel comfortable on, and so far it seems to be that, as Emrek, I believe, is still holding on to a full combo of 264 with pretty nice active 98.2, and it is so difficult to hold those longer combos on this map, as you mentioned, with it being really, really volatile due to the circle size. I mean, you can see it now as well with Emrek finding those misses now as well. It's so difficult to come back with this map, but if Malice can build combo for the last minute, there could still be hope, but it would have to be a lot of work for it.
Yeah, it was actually played against Enry. Emrek, we've not seen play this yet, but Emrek does find another miss. This could be the opening that Malashevsky needs. Does have a pretty nice combo advantage, but this map does get tougher into the second half, and there's a big miss from Malashevsky. That is going to make it significantly harder, because Malashevsky, winning the map isn't enough. Needs to win by a full 90,000 points, and right now it is Emrek leading with only 40 seconds in the map left to go. We're going to need to see some pretty massive accuracy drops by Emrek for Malashevsky to bring this one back.
And that's just kind of the like we said, that's just kind of the nature of this map. You just miss on literally anything, and just like that, since this map is so short, it's almost sub 230. It's any miss will just immediately shift that score lead over. So unfortunately for Malice, not going to be working out in favor of him this time around. But like we said, with a 90k score lead, that is pretty hard to come back from. So going for a riskier pick in this isn't necessarily the end of the world.
In terms of potential picks for Malashevsky, I am still looking at a lot of those, well, a lot of those ones minus the Nomod one, so the hidden one and the Hard Rock one. You know, the DT one honestly wouldn't be a bad pick for Malice if he was allowed to pick it, but it is going to be that Hard Rock one. We have got Pile of Corpses. This one is pretty much a raw aim map, you know, slightly awkward. But for the most part, it is going to be relatively standard with lots of high spacing jumps and some 1-2s mixed in as well.
Yeah, the Hard Rock mod pool looks pretty different.
Mm-hmm.
You said Hard Rock 1, and I was just like, wait a minute.
Oh, did I? Oh, my bad. Hidden one.
Hidden one will be the pick. This is a map I think a lot of people that are in the tournament scene are pretty familiar with. Pile of Corpses. This is a custom for, I don't even know what tournament it was a custom for, but it was a custom. This is everyone's favorite mapper, Alden and Melon Boy, also known as Fucho. Going to be collabing to do a aim map, which they are both pretty known for at this point. Everyone knows an Alden Fucho aim map. They've made the OWC 2024 custom Tiebreaker. Today is the day, if you're familiar with that. Same mappers have mapped that, so you'll probably see some similarities in terms of the overall structure and mapping style here.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of the mapping style, this map is so difficult. I mean, the spacing on the jumps, if what I remember, doesn't really get smaller. It is relatively consistent in the sense of it feels like full screen jumps the whole time, because it basically is. And adding on the hidden on that, for these two players, I don't think it's going to be changing much. It is just testing that comfort on the aim, and so far they are both really, really comfortable. Malashevsky did have that very, very early break, and that is giving Emrek a 10k score advantage, but that break from Emrek is going to be opening the door for Malashevsky, giving him a chance to flip the score back into his favor. The accuracy on both of them unfathomably strong, one miss only each, and it is the difference of that combo game right now, which Malashevsky is going to start taking the lead with, as we're closing closer and closer to the halfway point of the map.
Yeah, unfortunately for Emrek, that miss did come a third of the way through the map, so that's going to cut this score potential significantly, and now all Emmerich can do is wait and hope for a miss from Malashevsky, but we've seen Malashevsky put up 900k on this map, so that is far from a guarantee. Now the score lead is quickly growing. 37k and climbing. The accuracy is so incredibly strong for both players. In fact, not going to be a huge contributor in this match, but there's going to be another really tricky set of 1-2s coming up in about 30 seconds that I think will be the next potential breakpoint for both of these two.
Both these players love this type of map. Malice in particular, he loves the... Oh my god.
Oh, fiery.
Well, no worries, Emrek. I'll be taking my PayPal check in the mail, thank you. Emrek now, with the combo advantage, will be clawing back at the lead shortly. As you said, though, there is a harder section to come, so we'll see if Emrek can hold through that. If he can, then the score lead will be shifting over to him, but nope, won't be holding through it. Malice does trade it, so won't be climbing a score lead back in his favor, but at the very least, he's going to be stifling the growth of this lead.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to keep the damage control in there for Emmerich side of things, and an extra miss coming in from Malashevsky is going to keep moving that score lead just a bit close towards Emmerich's side. Maybe not enough to win the point, but with another miss being found, it does seem to get a bit scarier and scarier for Malashevsky. That score lead is starting to close, and, you know, for it being your pick to open up the set, you'd want a bit more of a buffer than 15k, but honestly, at this point, you should take anything and just pray you can hit this ending, as Emmerich seems to be pretty dialed in on it. Only a few misses on some of the hardest part of the map. Not ideal, but at least it's somewhat of a buffer for Malashevsky, which is better than nothing.
Yeah, you'll take anything you can get. Two very strong scores, mind you. 800k on this map is far from easy. But yeah, this is where things start to get really interesting for Emmerich, because it's kind of what I mentioned earlier. Because it is such a small score gap, Emmerich does not need to pick the stronger maps. In fact, can pick maps that are just slightly advantaged. I'm actually looking at that hidden 3. It's when we know Emmerich can FC that Malashevsky is very strong on as well. Put up 950k when it was played. So potentially we could see Emmerich, you know, go for that HD3, knowing that Malashevsky will be able to put up a strong score on it. And unsurprisingly, we're getting this DT1 Dark Flight Dreamer. This is going to be Emmerich's Protect, opting to use that now to guarantee the set win. Which is a very reasonable use of the Protect as well. But, I mean, I'll reiterate it, because I mentioned earlier, despite this being a very Emmerich-favored map on paper, it is Malashevsky who's been putting up the stronger scores on this pick so far in the tournament.
Out of every map in the pool, this is probably the more likely map where he can claw that back. He can do it on pretty much any of the maps remaining, but I think this is probably the best one remaining in the pool. This is Dark Flight Dreamer, 1.4x speed, so not quite double time, but might as well be double time, frankly. This is a map I think a lot of old heads are familiar with. This used to be a Hard Rock Farm map back in the day. Not anymore, as mapping has gotten a lot more optimized, but, you know, it's still fun.
Yeah, I mean, still a peak map, and as you mentioned, with it being 1.4 times, this map does sit still about 264 BPM, so still going to be pretty quick on the fingers if you're not entirely careful, but I mean, with both these players, should be relatively comfortable, even with Malashevsky not being as comfortable at 260. He is very scary when it does come to that combo game, which he's shown time and time again. But that miss on the jumps is going to put him in a pretty bad situation, especially with Malashevsky, not Malashevsky, sorry, Emmerich holding on. I thought he had a break there, but it doesn't seem real. Okay, that break is real. Never mind. I'm so sorry. But that does maybe give a chance toward Malashevsky if he can start to recover the combo a bit quicker.
It absolutely does. Malashevsky is still very much in this set, only down by about 15,000 points right now, and still some very tricky sections to come. Into the next PI, it is a slight combo advantage for Malashevsky, and accuracy has really evened out with Emmerich finding some more accuracy drops. It's brought this score lead ever closer. It is slightly moving over to Malashevsky, and there's still a full minute left to go in this map. Anything could happen going into the last set of PIs.
I think what I want to look forward to is, oh my god, Emmerich misses again on the jump section prior to that. That's not going to help at all. But with that said, there's a speed section coming up, and I think we're going to be seeing Malice drop quite a bit of accuracy on it.
No,
We'll see if he can hold through it. Nope, there goes the accuracy. He does hold the combo, though, and that's the most important part. Emmerich also drops a miss on that, so this might be looking like the exact same scenario that we saw last time. Malice combo gaming and winning against Emmerich on his own pick.
I mean, Malashevsky at this point is becoming one of the scariest combo players in the game. Like, he can drop a bit of accuracy against someone who's a lot more comfortable on this BPM than someone else, but just because he can drop accuracy doesn't mean he's going to give away any free combo, and even with a lot of that act drop at the end, dropping him 10k score, he's still 46k advantage on that map and already had the 10k buffer. Getting him a set against Emmerich, which is already a better performance than he had last week in the finals.
Of course, Emmerich does have the next pick going into set number 3. And as a reminder, if both players win 2 sets, then we go to set number 5, in which we play 2 more maps, followed by the Osu original tiebreaker style map, although it is much shorter than his typical tiebreaker. Of course, we do not have any DTs left in the pool because that DT2 was protected by Malice as a ban, so that is not a real option. And we're going to get Fungus Dance, the Hard Rock 3. This one is just an absolute banger. Such a fun map. This is going to be a finger control alt pick, and all of the patterns are a little bit more intuitive than they look, but they're kind of not patterns you often see in your kind of standard Nomod 3 type alt maps.
I'm actually kind of curious about this map pick, because this is generally a map that we've seen pretty high scores on from a lot of different players throughout the tournament on this. This is, as you said, Fungus Dance, funny background. We don't talk about the background. This is a, I guess, semi-awkward aim alt pick. You can kind of just see it from the first few seconds of the map. This is pretty much what you're going to be getting for the vast majority of the map. The ending does spike quite a bit in difficulty, which is where you're going to be seeing a lot of the misses, I imagine, come from. Most of the beginning, I don't think we've seen that many players have difficulties with. We've seen pretty high combos and accuracies throughout the beginning, at the very least, but once you hit that around, I think, 700 combo range, you're probably going to be seeing a lot more misses and a lot more accuracy drops, which is where things should get pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this map, for the most part, does just feel like a control consistency battle between these two. Just praying you keep solid accuracy getting into the later half of the map, pray that you keep the combo game going, and honestly, if you just hope your opponent misses early enough that you don't have to worry too much. But, I mean, getting towards the halfway point of the map, as to be somewhat expected with these two, they're both still holding onto those full combos, both still above 99% accuracy, just very, very comfortable. But it's when this map dials up, you really want to keep your eye open for any of those small slip-ups, any of those small mistakes either of them make, which is very plausible, but again, it is just waiting for those small slip-ups to hope for your opponent to make the mistake. But again, I don't think these two want to let that happen. 600 combo passed, the colors change as the map does dial a small bit up, but 20 seconds of the map remain.
It is dead even as we approach that 700 combo marker that Fiery mentioned earlier. Both players still holding on. This is such an incredible performance on both sides. Accuracy is pretty much dead even as well. 99.8 from Malashevsky actually is absurd. That is 30,000 point difference just off of the accuracy, and both players yet to miss 4 seconds left of the map. We're going to be seeing a double FC on Fungus Dance. Looks like it will be the case.
Wow.
What a performance. This is the pinnacle of Osu. I mean,
2 100s!
2 100
Yeah,
on Fungus
crazy.
Dance is just ridiculous.
Even if you get an unlucky miss here and there, unless Emmerich FCs and gets insane accuracy, you should be okay on that. It will be the Hard Rock one, as you said, so sticking with the Hard Rock mod, as you said, not really a bad pick either. 900k is consistently on this, and if you get a 900k, that's pretty much almost guaranteed to win you this set, unless Emmerich FCs again, which I feel like on a long consistency map like this, it's not necessarily guaranteed, but it does, at the very least, with how Emmerich has been playing, I think, give you more of a chance, and I think that's what he's banking on here.
It's an absolute banger. And I mean, as another reminder, Malashevsky is coming from the losers bracket, having lost to Emrek in the winners finals previously. So if Malashevsky manages to win this match, then we will be going to a bracket reset. Here we go into Hard Rock 1 Human.
Shit. Like, Malashevsky only really made one, maybe two major mistakes. The one miss at the start and then one miss at, like, the 1200 combo mark. like, those are fine scores. 800k is a good score on this, but you know, I guess when you just FCs, there's not much you can do. You just have to have better actually like the last map in the set was.
Are all of a sudden becoming a lot more difficult. We are going to get the Nomod 4 pick. This is the pick that you were looking at, Fire Rage.
Yeah.
I think Sen makes a lot of sense for Malashevsky, but it is a big gamble. It feels like we've reached the stage of the match where Malashevsky is kind of out of guaranteed picks. Not that there was many to begin with between these two players, but both of these players have played the map twice and have averaged 825k, although Malashevsky did win by about 50k when they played it versus each other last week. This is, of course, going to be relatively standard slider tech map, but I just want to highlight what's really cool about this map is it a great showcase of the differences between laser and stable. Because of the slider leniency changes, this map feels really good to play on laser, but if you play it on stable, it feels pretty terrible. So it is a good thing it is in fact a laser tournament. But yeah, it's just going to be your kind of general slider tech, lots of high slider velocity, and a bit of aim control mixed in as well.
Because it feels terrible if you're not named Malashevsky, because this guy is absolutely insane at these types of maps. If you look at pretty much any of the custom Nomod 4 leaderboards, this dude is at like #1 and has accuracy lead by miles. He is absolutely insane at these fast slider tech maps. It is genuinely absurd. Granted, Emrek can combo this, and I think combo is going to play a pretty big factor in this, especially if Malice finds an unfortunate miss. I don't imagine he will, unless it's on one of the flow aim sections, but there is a potential there, and with how Emrek has been playing, at least recently, he has been kind of just popping off, so we'll see what happens. But for right now, this is what you're going to be getting throughout most of the map. A couple flow aim sections here and there with a few gimmicky sliders, and both these players, at least out of the gate, seem to be holding up just fine. There goes Emrek on a combo, actually, so early advantage for Malashevsky, as I think we were kind of expecting going into this pick.
I was going to ask, is it possible for him to go for the 3-peat, but, you know, that break is a tad bit unfortunate, ending that chance, but, I mean, Malashevsky opening up with this map into this set is such a solid pick. As you mentioned, one of, if not the greatest tech player of our time, and he is just showing that in spades, the comfort there, and I mean, the last time I saw Malice play this, he already put out a disgustingly incredible score. And, I mean, with 40 seconds left of the map, he seems to be replicating it again. Ooh. Only one small mistake just there, but still no accuracy drops other than that miss. But with Emrek having combo, he is going to start to, you know, bring that buffer closer and closer. But can he close it quick enough in 20 seconds? With those misses coming in from Malashevsky, it could happen. It's just hoping Emrek doesn't continue to hold that combo, but it does go over to his side. Malashevsky now on the defense, having to try and push that score back as much as possible. But, I mean, with this goal that Emrek is playing out, one mistake at the very beginning, but just to get himself locked in towards the next half of the map, it just seems, you know, unfortunate for Malashevsky.
That second miss in particular was really unfortunate for Malice. I think without that, it would have been at least relatively tied, but that double miss on that stream section kind of just put it over the edge. 54k in favor of Emrek now, and it is going to be his pick. Granted, the remaining 3 picks that Emrek has available is pretty much a toss-up. He will be going for the one that he guaranteed, or that he's not guaranteed, but at the very least he won against Malice and has already established himself to be able to win. This is a map I think he's twice FC'd at this point.
now going to be picking this Nomod 1. And Fire and Torva, would you guys be surprised to hear that Emrek has played this map once and has just FC'd it? Because of course he has.
I'm not too surprised, but replicating it is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, this was, I think, the obvious pick for Emrek out of the remaining maps. He can't pick DT2, and I imagine DT2 is going to be the map that is not picked. I think Malice is just going to instantly go for Hidden Free, just not dealing with DT2. That is the wonder of having the third ban, or fabled third ban. If you use it and your opponent doesn't, you don't have to worry about that map ever. So...
And this is not necessarily your standard Nomod 1. It is definitely aim focused, but it is a bit more mixed skill sets than your average Nomod 1. You know, you have some light tech, you've got a bit of aim control mixed in, and it is a little bit spikier than your standard Nomod 1 as well. So, I mean, we know Malashevsky is incredibly strong on these aim maps as well. So, even though Emrek has an FC on this map, Emrek just needs to get a score close enough to that FC, or potentially, you know, no guarantee that Emrek FCs again. Just needs to keep this score difference within reach for both the Hidden 3 and the Osu original coming up. Here we go into Valsniege.
You practice pronouncing that, huh?
Not once. You can, clearly.
Yeah, well, you know, it's worth the attempt at the very least.
I had to try once, you know.
Early stages of this map. No one really having any issues, and I think most of the misses you're going to be finding come on the courses on this map. It is somewhat consistently difficult, so you might find an unlucky miss here and there on some of these weirder aim patterns throughout the entire map, but I feel like with the skill level of these players, we're going to be mostly just seeing the misses come during the 1-2 sections of the choruses.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you'd expect most misses to come in from, and I mean, for both these players, they're just hoping to play their absolute best, both of them hoping to bring out a score better than the other, both of them honestly hoping to bring in that full combo. It is going to be an accuracy advantage for Malashevsky as they're both still on those full combos, 2,000 score advantage on that right side. It is just 2 100s difference between them as the 1-2s gain intensity, but neither of them find the major mistake. Another bit of an act drop coming from Emrek, 2 100s extra, but I mean, with another 2 minutes 50 of the map remaining, both of them are still in pretty comfortable positions, but again, that one major mistake from either side will cause it all to crumble.
And that is what is so scary about this map. You know, the pressure is so high for both of these players because if you find a single miss, especially in the middle of the map, that could very well be the end of your tournament right there, the end of this set. But both players still holding strong. And we do have another PI coming up, but they've got a little bit of time to work with before we get to the next really tough section. Second PI here, both players still on FCs. Malashevsky still holding ever so slight of an accuracy advantage, but very likely there's a mix for Malashevsky, and that is right in the middle of the map as well. And if Emrek FCs this is going to be a massive score advantage going into the next two maps. That is disastrous for Malashevsky, and Emrek has a big opportunity here.
Over-aiming the 3/4 slider, that's such a tragic miss, especially he's going to be seeing it right at the break too. That is so unfortunate, and there's a bit of a slow section after it, which is just going to be adding flames to the fire. Emrek having a considerable lead if he gets through this solo. It doesn't last too long, so it shouldn't be anything crazy, especially if he misses. Well, he's not going to be missing at the 1/3 there, so just needs to hold a bit longer, and then he'll have a bit of a chance to get some combo here and build the score lead up.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Malashevsky is just needing to play that damage control, just needing to not make a single mistake from this point. Under the assumption that Emrek doesn't, break anywhere, the only hope is Malashevsky keeping that score difference within check. It's already an 80,000 difference between them. It's already getting a bit sketchy for that right side, but, if anything major happens, there could be a chance to bring it a bit closer, but that is all dependent on that left side, all dependent on Emrek finding that mistake, finding that miss, or even just a slider break. But with 50 seconds left of the map, he just has to stay completely dialed in, has to continuously play at his best. No problems to be found on the aim, both of them having to play so competitively, but even with them at their best, I mean, Look at how far they've gone currently. Even the 1-2's not causing a slip-up from either side. That one unfortunate mistake earlier in from Malashevsky is starting to bite him in the wound. And it is looking scarier and scarier. 128k, no, 120k, sorry. Score advantage to MREC. Still on the full combo, 7 100s. 20 seconds left of the map, and can he close it out? That is the question I think I have to ask.
Yeah, MREC gonna be winning this one pretty decisively, but Malashevsky finds he had another miss. Luckily that was right at the very end, so isn't gonna be too much worse off, but the score difference after map 1 is gonna be 170,000 points, very likely. That is going to be one of the biggest margins we have seen all set. And the one potential, bright side for Malashevsky is that unlike the previous sets, does have 2 maps to bring this one back, which does put it more within reach. If you can get about win by 80k on both maps, then could definitely find the win. But we are getting hyper surface. But unsurprisingly, MREC played this once and has FC'd it as well. So
And MREC rightfully going to be calling his timeout. Last map of the match. If Malice gets above a 94k score lead on this, we'll be seeing bracket reset. Otherwise, MREC will be crowned Laser Grand Arena champion once again.
And Obedience, it is a slider tech focused pick. Of course, you do have a fair bit of aim tech and you have some tricky spaced flow patterns mixed in, but Malashevsky, one of the best tech players in the world, no question. I mean, we saw what both these players did on the Nomod 4, but generally we feel like slider tech most of the time is going to favor Malashevsky. We did actually see Malashevsky play this in a showcase yesterday and put up 875k. So clearly very, very capable on this map. And you know, if Emrek finds a miss at any point, we know Malashevsky has the score potential to bring this one back. So like you said, Fiery, this one is far from over. Fiery, as a top player, I wanted to ask, because you probably have the, you know, a much better sense of this than I would, but how hard is this map compared to the rest of the pool?
It's roughly, I'd say, the same difficulty, honestly. I don't imagine we'll be seeing FCs, but you'll probably be seeing 800Ks, roughly around that. I think both these players are more than capable of putting up those types of scores, Malice.
Okay, Malice.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. It's not going to matter, though. That's, like, literally at the very beginning of the map, and unless Emrek FCs, that's really not going to matter, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, just gotta hope, you know, Emrek doesn't pull off the magic he's been showing off this whole match so far. I mean, good bit of comedy coming in from the start from Malashevsky, but now is the time for him to completely dial in, get himself completely in that zone, in that flow state, and that is the hope for him, especially for a fan of Malashevsky, hoping this goes to bracket reset. You gotta give him your hopes and prayers, but for those who are cheering on Emrek, you just gotta hope he keeps doing the magic he's been doing the whole time so far. 270 combo cross, just getting through the intro as the map does start to build into one of the harder drops, I would argue, with some of the most difficult sliders to aim if you're not someone who is very used to this. But with it being lazy, you know, you have a small bit of leniency, but you still got to track these pretty accurately, and it is such a challenge to do so. They're just going absolutely ham, back and forth, but no one to find a major break yet between these two. Both of them holding on to some very strong combos. I'll count them both as technical full combos.
These players are so good. They just cannot be stopped. We've got the first break. The nerves have time to build. As coming up next, we have got a very tricky aim tech focused section after this build up into some absolutely brutal spaced flow patterns that are very easy to miss on. Only 55 seconds left of the map though, so we're gonna need to see that miss from Emrek likely on this next section. Every second this slow section continues, further this match slips out of Malashevsky's grasp, but there is still a little bit of time. 40 seconds. Can Malashevsky bring this one back? Can he see the rest of the map? Will we see the miss from Emrek? Let's find out.
Emrek needs to miss pretty much just right now, honestly, and that's the main issue, I think, is if he holds this combo even for just a little bit longer, this might just be too much for even Malice to come out with. He hits that awkward aim section, and I think just with that alone, it might just be over. He's not they're both FCing this. What is happening right now, man? What are you meant to do against this performance from both of these players? FCs, essentially, from both of them on the original FCs, and it just doesn't matter.
Oh. Let's go. Fuck yes.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned, by the way, this is one of those matches you're looking at and you go, yeah, I don't imagine any of them to find FCs. If we ignore the very first slide of the match, Malashevsky, they both full combo. How? That is an insane performance from them both. But I mean, like with how Emrek played in the last set and just all of the sets as a whole, I mean, I think it's safe to say it's a pretty deserved win. But oh my, do I feel bad for Malashevsky putting out a full combo basically on that last map to still lose. That's not something that happened in any other matchup I think there is. I just don't think it'd be happening.
No, I mean, there's no question that these two are the two best players in the world right now. They've been dominating tournaments for the past 4 years, and they will continue to do so. But a huge congratulations to Emrek on being the Laser Grand Arena 2026 winner. It is going to be a very strong tournament overall. Has only dropped 3 sets throughout the whole tournament, 2 of them of course being in this match. And I mean, what a performance in the grand finals. Emrek was so locked in, got, what was it, 4 FCs in that match, many of them in the later half. Of course, commiserations to Malashevsky, but and what a showing, especially after that 3-0 last week when they played. Bringing this one all the way to tiebreaker and making it incredibly close, getting a reverse choke on that tiebreaker nonetheless is a very impressive performance.
Winning a set by FCing 2 and then just FCing the final map. There's not really anything you can do there. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane performance, and it's not even like Malice had a bad performance either. I mean, he basically FC'd right there along with him. What can you do?
And I mean, this tournament as a whole has been so much fun. You know, things like the laser mod picks, as well as just the format, have added a lot of really cool strategy to this tournament. So I just wanted to give a huge thank you to all the players for joining us for this laser tournament. A massive thank you to all the staff as well. A lot of work goes into these tournaments behind the scene to make matches like these happen. And last but not least, thank you to you all for watching, showing up every single match and joining us time and time again. It makes these matches so much fun. One last reminder to get your banners in the Oshu stop, show your support for these incredible players. I thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Also, I'll be live pretty frequently on YouTube and Twitch too, so if you would like to watch the grind live, subscribe to the channel.